Oh, it's a real, I don't know how to explain it. It's a, wow. You know what I mean? Remember.
Sir whip, 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 sir beat.
Dare you! You stop that!
I am Boba Fett.
Oh, we are excited, aren't we?
Fighting the frizzies at 11.
Happy Life Day. I do mean Happy Life Day.
Hello and welcome to Who Watches, a podcast about quite a many of things, but tonight specifically we are talking the Star Wars Holiday Special that aired one night on November 17th, 1978. I am Travis Fishburne.
I'm Alex Brunel.
And whoopee, I'm Dustin Meadows.
Even misquoted. Ryan, unmute yourself.
I'm Ryan DeVere.
All right. So we are all here to discuss the infamous, celebrated holiday special.
And like so many people who have seen the holiday special, I'm kind of making us do this. So thank you guys for indulging me.
I was excited to do this. So
I think it was pretty wizard that we did this.
It's that time of year where Star Wars fans inflict this thing on unsuspecting people
who may or may not be Star Wars fans. I don't think you have to be a Star Wars fan to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. I think you can still appreciate the insanity if you just like kitsch or terrible concepts executed to completion.
Yeah,
or you're very drunk.
There you go. And we're just gonna be. This is more of a free form. We're just gonna chat about this for a bit and. Not
you don't want to go through this plot point by plot point with all the notes I have here on.
Burn them. Burn the sacred texts.
All right.
Plot points in this economy.
So Dustin, just so everyone is aware of the situation, you have been drinking since you started watching the Star Wars Holiday Special about 2.5 hours ago now?
Correct. Right. I've had 3 of these, an Angry Orchard, and 4 whiskey cokes.
Wow. Okay. I'd be,
wow.
You know, that was the most perfect sound cue that's ever been on the show. But before we get into the merriment of the insanity of the Star Wars Holiday Special, there is a somber note.
Travis,
you want to share
that. You know, we only got word of quite just a few hours ago that Jeremy Bulloch, the original actor to portray Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, has passed away at the age of 75. And it's very sad. Jeremy Bulloch was a really great guy. He was always super excited just to be Boba Fett. And every fan appearance he had, he was very enthusiastic about, you know, being the guy to play the character. We've got an image up that I thought was cool. It's him and Irvin Kershner and the late David Prowse, who just passed away as well, unfortunately. It's very sad that all 3 of those gentlemen are now gone.
Oh God. Yeah, that's depressing. I always really liked him for some reason. Mm-hmm. I never interacted with him or anything, but I don't know. I was offended on his behalf when they overdubbed him with Tamora Morrison on the DVDs.
Well, I don't know if Jeremy,
but that wasn't his voice, was it?
Yeah, it was a different guy who did the voice.
Yeah, that's true. I probably didn't realize that at the time, but I remember. I just didn't want any changes. I just liked the movie the way it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, what, Dustin?
I was going to say, in spite of my previously expressed views on Boba Fett in general and his very recent redemption arc of kick-assery, it is a huge bummer about Jeremy Bulloch, and much like David Prowse and Carrie Fisher and everyone else, they're no good to us dead.
No, not
It's
at
true.
all.
It's true. But, you know, we are going to talk about the very first appearance of the character that he portrayed here on the Star Wars
exactly.
Holiday Special. The one thing that is kind of universally agreed that is good, that for, like, if the Star Wars Holiday Special had a good thing about it, it's that it had this cartoon in the middle of it. We're kind of talking about it now, so why don't we just talk about the thing that people generally agree is legitimately good about the Star Wars Holiday Special, and then move on to the whole rest of everything else regarding the thing.
Yeah. I made my fiance watch this with me to prepare for tonight. She had never seen it, had no clue what she was getting into. But
She thanked you for it.
She definitely hated everything that was not the Boba Fett cartoon.
I've got the image up now. This was based on, there is like footage of a Boba Fett suit that looked like this being tested, I think, right? Like early on in the Empire Strikes Back production process.
The one in question, I wish I had a visual for that right now, but it's not, it's the one, it's kind of similar to this, but he's all in white.
Okay.
And
that's
Ben
just
Burtt was the guy who wore the costume.
That's right.
Yeah.
Always these guys with these like long pointy heads. But the style of the animation is kind of really bizarre. It's like this really like kind of goopy movement that everyone has to them, very rubbery. I think it was Nelvana that produced the animation that later produced the Droids and Ewoks cartoon shows and a lot of other cartoons we grew up with.
Yeah, which makes sense because the character designs for 3PO and R2 are exactly the same.
Totally the same. There were just this was definitely like more frames per second animation than the Saturday morning cartoon shows were, but it's had like the whole original voice cast. Not really well sound mixed, but like it's the whole original voice cast.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's kind of cool. It's like, you know, it doesn't contradict anything that happened in later movies. It's just like this kind of cool, like little standalone, weird rebel story, and it was a very early example of that.
Yeah.
No, I really love the fact that the entire original voice cast is in this, and I think about it every time I watch this. I'm like, this is so cool that we get everybody in here, and it would have been really cool if they had actually extended this and made some kind of an ongoing series with it.
Yeah.
I really love the animation style. I love how fluid it is. I've heard criticisms of the animation for this, and I'm like, why? It's so lifelike. It's way more lifelike than anything you see now that's made with Flash animation.
Yeah,
So,
and
sure.
It's definitely a style, and it's like a style that it is, to me, to this extent that it is in this, is kind of unique to this little short, and it would have been like an interesting aesthetic to actually like contribute that to the Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic canon.
Yeah, this style, it always reminds me, it's been a minute since I've seen it always makes me think of the movie Heavy Metal.
Oh yeah.
The animation style, like there's a lot, I don't know if there's any relation between this studio and that or not, but like they're very similar, like very realistic animation styles, and that's kind of what this short always reminded me of.
Yeah, I think the way that the backgrounds are painted and the way that the whole thing is colored also lends a lot to that, because I think there's a lot of commonalities between Heavy Metal and this in that regard.
For sure.
This is also the only piece of the Star Wars Holiday Special that's legitimately been released by Lucasfilm. It's like an Easter egg bonus feature on the Complete Saga Blu-ray set from a few years ago.
Oh.
Because the version that I recently watched, Alex, that you helped me find, when you cut to the animated segment, you're like, oh, this actually looks great.
Yeah,
the quality is good here, and that's why.
It's because it's lifted from the blue. Yeah, there's a. Can I plug what edition that is? That's fine, right? Yeah. I think the key edition of the Star Wars Holiday Special to seek out online is a DVD known as the Diahann Hybrid Edition version 2. And it combines video from a bunch of sources. The bulk of the special is taken from a broadcast studio master tape. The commercials are taken from, I think, the WMAR Boston broadcast, but also with the Fighting the Frizzies news bump from the WCBS New York broadcast in there as well. And the cartoon is taken from the Blu-ray, so it's like literally it's the best that the special has ever or really could ever look, unless it's given to us officially, which it just won't be. The Diahann Hybrid Edition, version 2. seek it out. Because and it's got the riff tracks on there too. And also, if you pirate the riff tracks, just like give riff tracks a few bucks. They ask you like $3 or $4 for it. It's so worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the cartoon.
Yeah,
So,
with the first time we see Boba Fett.
yeah,
I am Boba Fett.
so cool. And the cartoon is like they're trying to keep Itchy just like occupied. Like the Imperials are just trying to like keep the kid. No, he's watching it behind the Imperials' backs because it's like a rebel broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tries to trick him into thinking he's playing a game.
Right.
It's very weird. The riff tracks
context
points
for it
us
is
out,
nuts.
like the fact he's watching a cartoon about his dad.
Just a normal thing kids do in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, my fiance's exact response was, "Wait, is he just watching a cartoon flashback of something that happened?"
We
I
never
was
know.
I was like, "Yeah, I think essentially that's what this is."
Yeah.
It could just be propaganda for the rebellion.
So Travis, why don't you take us through a little bit of the overall plot of the special?
Well, the whole synopsis is basically Chewie and Han trying to get to Kashyyyk in time for Chewie to celebrate Life Day. And we see them a few times, but most of the time we are with Chewbacca's family, his wife Mala, his dad Itchy, and his son Lumpy. And we see their Life Day goings on, which includes some run-ins with the Empire.
Yep. Cooking.
Yep.
We get a glimpse of what TV they watch.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of the local commerce scene on Kashyyyk. We get a little peek
the
into
trading
that world.
post.
A surprising amount of world building in this holiday special.
Yeah, there's a whole scene that's just like it's just Art Carney doing sales pitches for space products.
Yup.
Like a miniaturized fish tank, or like, a Star Wars version of the bathroom buddy from Gremlins.
That's exactly what. Every time he says that, he goes into that, I'm like, he sounds like the dad from Gremlins right now.
Chris Columbus just knocked off the Star Wars holiday special for that
Yeah.
segment of Gremlins, y'all.
Trying to pitch it to the Imperial trooper or drone operator or whatever that guy is, who is clearly dubbed in that entire scene.
Yep.
Also, I know that on a recent episode covering Mandalorian, I said somebody had the laziest Star Wars name. I want to retract that and apply it to Chewbacca's entire family for the laziest Star Wars names.
Wait, but the previous record holder was Sleaze Bagano.
Yeah.
Sleaze Bagano still, it's a stupid name, but it still sounds like a Star Wars name. Mala, Itchy, and Lumpy sound like 7 dwarves.
Yeah. Mala Tabuk, Lumpawaru, and Ichituk.
Ichituk, yeah.
Yeah.
See, then call them that, because those are dumb, but again, those sound like Star Wars names at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
They're all abbreviated, just like when you call Chewbacca Chewie.
Right.
But within the context of the special, we know that Chewie is Chewbacca. We don't know that their names are longer than what we hear.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Well,
They-
they for all we know, they say it in dialogue, and we just can't understand it.
How would we
because-
ever know? There are no subtitles because we get
This would
5
also bring
minutes.
up another point of the holiday special. Yeah, no subtitles. It's all just Wookiees going.
Yeah.
"Rah!"
There's literally like in the 97 straight minutes of the holiday special proper, probably 20 to 25 minutes of it is strictly in the Wookiee language.
Yeah.
And that noise over and over and over. That's about the only noise Lumpy makes.
Yeah. Now, can we confirm that this special was in fact written, executive produced, and directed by Cocaine?
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think
That's literally the only explanation.
I think Bruce Valanche kind of implies as much in the trailer for the upcoming documentary about the Star Wars holiday special. Travis, what's the name of that thing?
A Disturbance in the Force.
Right.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be really fun.
I am fascinated
Yeah,
that this exists, and I am very excited.
I've heard some interviews from the director who's making that, and he's got a lot of good connections from the original cast and the makers and everything. So it's going to be, I don't know, very insightful.
That's going to be great.
One thing while it's fresh in my brain, Kenny Baker's not in this.
Oh, correct. This was entirely like just a actual remote controlled robot R2D2. They did not deal with paying
I saw
Kenny
that.
Baker to get in that suit.
I read a little more on that. The remote R2 operator was Mick Garris.
No way.
That at least according to the Wikipedia article that I read.
That is wild. Mick Garris is a horror writer, sometimes director. He created the show Masters of Horror and the broadcast TV safe version Fear Itself, and directed the 1994 TV adaptation of The Stand.
And I believe Critters 2, I think.
Correct.
Oh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was one of the Critters. I think it was 2 that he directed.
That's correct.
Be Still My Heart.
And he remote operated R2D2 on the Star Wars Holiday Special, I guess. I see him in my neighborhood sometimes, actually.
Oh, nice.
He's got the very trademark long white hair and face, but mostly it's the hair that pings, and then I just realize, oh, it's Mick Garris again.
Should ask him about R2 next time.
I should have him sign an R2D2 action figure.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I know who. Like, I was like, there's no way it's the same Mick Garris. Click through. Absolutely the same Mick Garris.
That's so great.
Wow.
R2, what are you doing?
That's Mick Garris right there.
That's him doing that.
Please keep that wow sample in the sound bank for like just ongoing.
Oh, I think I will.
Yeah.
Did I interrupt you, Ryan? I'm sorry, dude.
No, something. I mean, we moved past it pretty quick, but one of the features on the Boba Fett cartoon is he has an eye right in the center of his helmet. Like there's a sketched eye, and it's shown a couple times really prominently. And then the other thing I think is super cool about the design was he has these like spikes on the end of his boots, like on the front end, that I'm like, I'm gonna pay attention next time. Like, next time I watch through Mandalorian again, see if he's got the spikes coming out of the front.
Oh, those are mountain climbing boots.
Yeah,
the Boba Fett boots actually do have. They're not as prominent as that, but they do have the little spikes at the tip.
Never noticed that before. Much like the kneecap rockets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my little my Force Unleashed Boba Fett's got them too.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I guess I should also point out this 2007 Boba Fett action figure. I guess. Oh, this is from the best line of Hasbro action figures in 2007, where they released all the Ralph McQuarrie ones. I have recently been uncovering like all the ones I have, and I didn't realize I had. And I'm like, wow, this is such a great line. And back when you could actually find these things in stores.
Right. What else holiday special? So so Han and Chewie are trying to get back. They're being impeded by the Empire. Mm-hmm. That's the goings on. We're also skirting around the Empire. We have a huge list of guest stars in the show.
Most of them are just Art Carney again.
Well, that's Harvey Korman in a million roles. Art Carney is
just the trading post
Sondan.
Or yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I get those. I get those two guys confused in the special too, though. No worries.
Yeah, Harvey Korman triple cast, and in one of them, if I'm not mistaken, straight up in blackface.
Yes, that's what Sarah said when we were watching. She's like, "This is just like a step below blackface."
Yes, he is definitely playing a woman in blackface in that one, and it's very weird. But you know what? That aspect notwithstanding, I actually think this scene in the holiday special is legitimately hilarious. I laugh at this every time.
It's a pretty, like, each of his, they're each pretty good bits.
Yeah, I like the robot bit too, like the weird android. Yeah.
Definitely the inspiration for Max Headroom.
Oh yeah, I could see a lot of what became Max Headroom in the way that thing is put together. Yeah.
That one is put together in the editing and the slow-mo and the repeating. And I wonder how much of that was Harvey's idea and how much he put into the performance. I have questions about that.
Part of me feels like he just probably played it fairly straight because most of the funny parts seem like they're done in post.
Yeah. I'm really curious as well because like it's editing that we don't really see in this era of television.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also weird the assortment of stars they have because like none of these people by any means are D-listers for the time.
No.
But it's still a real weird assortment of like what was Charo too expensive?
Charo was holding out for the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special in another like 7 years.
Yeah, where was Burt Reynolds during this? Like I feel like there are so many bigger names that they could have swung for.
I think they did. If I recall correctly, the Diahann Carroll part was offered to Cher first, who just flatly refused, and then they got Diahann Carroll.
Oh. She did not feel comfortable talking dirty to a Wookiee.
No.
We are excited, huh?
Really? What was the cat like? What they were like? All right, now we need you to act like what? Like, do they explain that she's seducing a Wookiee
and everything?
Right? Like, man alive, that is by far the most uncomfortable thing in the series. Like the holiday special.
Well,
it's so overt.
Yeah.
Well, and that sequence was the inspiration for Olivia Newton-John's physical video. So there you go.
So
something like this is sexy, but like I shouldn't be getting horny in the living room.
So like this scene is basically like Sondan. Art Carney comes over to the Wookiee, to the Baca family household, and is giving them Life Day gifts, and gives Lumpy whatever, and he gets Itchy this cartridge, and it's just like this thing. He's like, I got you. What does he say?
It's something like a mind evaporator. It's hard to
the mind evaporator.
All I can say is
it's a proton pack for the mind evaporator.
All I can say is wow. And then he puts in the cartridge and puts him in this VR helmet, and then he just sees Diahann Carroll in 70s TV spacey effects trying to seduce him and then singing him a song.
And then he repeats things several times, just like in that.
Yeah.
Also, something weird I noticed with Itchy's face mask or prosthetics or whatever they use. Does anyone besides me feel like this would later on get recycled for the villain in one of the 2 Ewok movies?
Oh, maybe.
You mean the Gorax?
Yeah, I think it's
the big monster-y thing.
The one with the little girl's family. The main like the dude. I think it's the second one where the girl's family gets killed.
Yeah. The evil warlock guy, the evil wizard guy.
Yeah, it's like him and his weird sorcerer lady. I think.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop picturing the similarities between their faces.
The sunken eyes are actually very similar now that you mention it. I hadn't really thought of that before, because what I zone in on the design of Itchy is, you can kind of see it in this screenshot, but his massive underbite, like his cartoonish underbite.
He's like full bulldog.
Yeah, but you're totally right about the way the sunken eyes are.
Yeah, and then the underbite.
Yeah,
I thought you were going in the direction of Big Trouble in Little China.
I was about to say the underbite later carried on to the weird sewer ape thing.
Yes, that's true.
Big Trouble.
And it keeps cutting back to reaction shots of Itchy, which I always find weird, and it's also like 4 minutes long.
Oh, it's so long.
The animation sequence in this special is the only thing that does not overstay its welcome.
That is absolutely true. Everything
else is way too long.
Yeah,
like
every performance,
the music numbers.
Yes,
especially the music numbers. The Bea Arthur, just the music part of the cantina scene is 4.5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
if it had just been that little snippet, like they jump right in with the the Empire is locking down.
Yeah, the last
and
call
then
song.
she's trying to get him out. That would have been fine, but that whole scene goes on. So there's the whole bit leading up to it with the pouring, like
with Harvey Korman's "Drink Through My Hole in My Head" guy.
Yeah, right. Cutting back to Korman. So the one all the way on the right here is that weirdness on the top of his head. That's how he drinks. He just has an open hole on the top of his skull that he pours drinks into. He's at the cantina. So the context of this, it's like an imperial broadcast. It's kind of like the real world Mos Eisley cantina.
Yeah, because that's what they say. They say, like, this is being live. Like, every time I watch this and they explain what they're doing, I'm like, why? What is this?
Well, and it's also weird too, because the way they communicate always is through the hologram things.
Yeah.
And like to see them switch to like TV broadcast in this, I was like, why? You have better technology than this.
Yeah. And so she's running the cantina, has to shut it down because the Empire's imposing curfew, and then sings a 4.5-minute song that we can interpret as titled "Goodnight but Not Goodbye" because that lyric is repeated ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm. Just sing "Closing Time,"
and it's like
what it is.
It's like a cabaret club version of the Cantina Band song, with lyrics. And maybe my favorite part of it is at the very end when she's like cha-chaing everybody out of the bar. Mm-hmm. And gets them all to sing in. It's like everybody to sing along. It is just the most cacophonous anti-musical noise. You just have this like squawking.
Dare you! You'll stop that!
This is one of the only times in my life that I may ever say it. I think this special is one of the few things that could benefit from the inclusion of Jedi Rocks.
Man, I like this scene. I was saying, this is the highlight and the low light of this show for me, is this scene. Because one of the images you sent over, Travis, is great because one of the things that's so cool about this scene is it's all the costumes from the Cantina sequence in Star Wars, but in like terrible video television lighting. So you can see how ridiculous they all actually look, but also you can see them kind of for the first time.
Well, and they definitely highlight things that you don't really, you get maybe a scene with or something in the cantina in A New Hope.
Yeah.
But like they're highlighted in this, and it really emphasizes just what a hodgepodge the cantina is of a grab bag of anything.
Yeah. Well, literally leaning and kissing on a gigantic mouse.
Yep, that's up on the screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a thing going with the literal like giant space rat.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is we see Ponda Baba back. He's got an arm again, and Greedo's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the implication is that these species just wear only those clothes,
only those outfits.
This is what a scene. But again, like highlight and low light.
Oh yeah, I really like it. I find this song. I like this song. It's also strangely sad to me, and I can't explain why. But it always like makes me a little sad, just like hearing that song. I don't know, this like weird time capsule of this thing that only aired once, and the fact that Bea Arthur is no longer with us. I don't know.
I mean, I will say, outside of the animation of all the scenes, this one felt the most like we were actually in this world.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, it's got that to its credit, if nothing else.
And you know what? Bea Arthur did not phone this in.
Oh no.
No, she's not bad. Like I honestly hate that it goes on as long as it did.
Yeah, it goes on way too long.
But she sincerely seems like she's present and actually putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Whereas almost everyone else is either like so wide-eyed that we know it's the drugs, or they're just really phoning it in.
Right. I think the actual solid performances in this are Bea Arthur, Art Carney, and Harvey Korman. Like, I think those three are like, they knew what they were doing. They knew, like, okay, comedy TV variety show, but Star Wars. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And they just like zeroed in on that and went, and everybody else is like, oh my God, why?
Oh yeah. Well, and Mark Hamill looks like a Ken doll.
He does.
It is
The eyeliner.
unnerving.
The eyeliner.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw the Star Wars Holiday Special was probably like 1998, 1999, and it was literally an ad. I had a subscription, I think, to the Sci-Fi Channel magazine. And there was an ad in the back of the Sci-Fi Channel magazine where this guy was selling tapes of it. If you sent him a money order for $20, he would mail you a tape. And so like 13 or 13-year-old me like begged my mom to send a stranger in a catalog $20 via a money order. And a tape showed up at the house, and it was a bootleg VHS, said the Star Wars Holiday Special, November 17th, 1978. And it was a pretty solid copy, actually. Like, I remember thinking when I got like my first like good DVD bootleg of it, like, oh, what I have is pretty good. And it was the New York broadcast with Fighting the Frizzies. But but as a kid, I actually just like really enjoyed it for like a time. I think it actually works for kids, maybe.
I would agree with that.
In the pre-internet age especially, I think it works for kids.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to show it to mine and find out.
Yeah.
Before the internet made us all jaded and ironic,
right,
postmodern.
Exactly. Yeah. Before 5-year-olds are on TikTok and are too old to find like Lumpy watching a weird holographic circus performance.
Yeah, I can't wait for Lumpy's toy reviews to start coming out. Modernize it.
Also, for a brief moment in the very beginning of this, when Lumpy climbs up on the railing, like, again, knowing that I'd seen this before and knowing that he lives to the end, my first thought was, oh my God, he's going to kill himself.
I mean, he
knows he's in the holiday special.
He takes a long time. He looks all the way down. He's like, yeah, that's certain death. Better climb up here.
Like, he's contemplating. Gears are turning.
Yeah. I got this picture up now of Stan Winston, special effects master, no longer with us, but Aliens, everything amazing.
Jurassic Park.
Director of A Gnome Named Norm.
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead.
Grooming Lumpy, because Stan Winston, I think, crafted the whole Wookiee family on this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love him with that deep V-neck and those giant collars.
Yeah.
Just combing little Lumpy's face.
He is living in the 70s. He is living in the 70s.
You told when you first saw it. The first time I saw it was, similar. Later in life, I was in college and I bought it off of eBay, a DVD copy. And come to find out, I'm pretty sure, the DVD copy I have that I bought at that time, I think I later learned was probably created and mass produced by none other than Ming Chen, who, if you know Kevin Smith lore, he tells a story in one of the Tell 'em Steve Dave episodes of him mass producing and selling these things on eBay, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the version I got.
Oh man, I remember like in the late 90s, early 2000s, more like early 2000s, like 2000, 2001. I was on the whatever era of the View Askew message board there was, and Ming was just the message board moderator. I think that's how he started with Kevin, he was just the moderator of the View Askew message board. Well, that's hysterical that your holiday special bootleg came from Ming. I think he's got a Funko Pop now.
Yeah, comic book man one.
Sorry, Ryan, tell your story.
My first... Actually, 2 of the 3 times that I've watched the special have been with Travis. The first one was I think it was on November 17th for like Life Day. They aired a local theater aired it, and Travis was like, "You've got to see it." Like I was like, "I know about it. I know it's terrible," and he's like, "No, you need to go see it." And so we watched it, and it was just the special. There were no commercials or anything in it. And so that after that, Travis was like, "You've got to watch the one with the riff tracks and the commercials in it. Like, it's so much better." So it was like a couple weeks later, I went over and watched it that way, and it is the definitively, it's a better experience. And then I watched it again tonight, and wow, it's just it doesn't get easier. It's not a pill that's easier to swallow. It's every time I think, oh yeah, I can just muscle through it. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, if I'm watching it straight anymore, I will generally just fast forward the Diahann Carroll and Jefferson Starship segments.
Yeah,
and it saves like 10 minutes.
When I'm watching it, I'm like chuckling to myself and I'm laughing because I know the riff tracks version so well now. I know the jokes, and so that's what I'm laughing at. Is like, oh, this is when they say this.
Yeah.
For me, my first viewing was with Travis and Alex in 2007. I think it was 2007.
Yeah, that would have been.
We watched the riff tracks
Christmas
version at Alex's apartment.
Yeah.
That was just a good year in general. Because that was when I moved into the frat cave.
I remember that. Oh yeah, you had that sick bookshelf.
Yeah,
door
that
thing.
secret door bookshelf that opened into the bedroom.
Oh,
we got to use in a shot for something.
Yeah,
so worth it.
Which gave everybody lung cancer.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah, but it looked so good.
It looked so good.
And that I think that was also the year that the three of us went to Motor City Comic Con.
Yeah,
and I found out how grumpy Tom Savini is at IRL.
Tom Savini's a friggin' jackass.
But yeah, that was my first time of watching it with you guys with the riff tracks version. Tonight is the first time I watched it straight, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it sober, so I planned accordingly. And yeah, oh boy, it is rough. It is rough. I for whatever reason I remembered it only being an hour long, and then I looked up the runtime. I was like, this is 98 minutes. This is
so you watched
movie.
it without commercials.
Yeah, you watched it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. There was the sponsor message from GM, and that was it at the beginning.
There's a lot of good like GM pro blue collar union work life commercials throughout the special and the actual broadcast.
Yeah, I feel like watching it with the commercials really helps to pace you, and it gives
for
you
sure.
those little nuggets of
I literally
things.
I had no barometer for that. I just pulled up the first copy that came up when I searched it, and that was what I went with.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the commercials give you some, like, it gives you a breath of air. Like, you come up to the surface for a second, like, okay, we're back to reality.
Reality 40 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, one of the commercials is that one of those sweet early Kenner commercials with Anthony Daniels in C-3PO and doing the commercial and everything, which is great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the other thing, do we have any idea what the budget for this was?
That's a good question.
I mean,
because
they got the original cast in. They got they had different acts and stuff. Had to be decent, right?
Google says $1 million.
Okay.
Google says people also ask, why is the Star Wars Holiday Special so bad?
I can answer that. As mentioned previously, cocaine.
Cocaine.
Yeah, because like it's so bad, and I know Harrison Ford's been a little more vocal about it in the last year or two, especially specifically in an interview on Conan he did about it. But like, was that a contractual obligation for all of them?
It was a personal request from George Lucas, from what I hear.
Okay.
I've heard Mark Hamill tell a story about how he did not want to do it, and he got a call directly from George saying, "Hey, can you do this as a personal favor?" Because at the time they didn't have any toys or anything available, so it was a way to help keep it alive to a degree.
Yeah.
Because at the time they're only giving people these things, and they're like, "Hey, action figures are coming, we promise." But
yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is because like Hamill is the cast member I feel like that comes out of it the least harmed out of everyone. Yeah, because Carrie Fisher clearly was doing all of the drugs to get ready for her time on the set of Blues Brothers in a few years. and Harrison Ford was already decided he was going to jump ahead to present day Harrison Ford for his performance. And
These are all so accurate.
Yeah, and Anthony Daniels.
He called the shot like Babe Ruth about to swing.
Yeah, and Anthony Daniels is just being obnoxious as 3PO always is. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
and Peter Mayhew is showing up with his baby blues.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Hamill, like Carrie Fisher, he was supposed to sing, and he straight up refused and said, "I'm not doing that."
Good on Mark Hamill.
Thank God. Yeah, Carrie Fisher, to bring the special home at the end, once the Empire got shooed away, basically, and they went.
And then they blame the death of a stormtrooper. Oh no, there's a death of a stormtrooper that they're looking for,
right?
And then Art Carney tells them, "Hey, this guy just robbed me and ran for the hills."
Oh, right. Yeah, ran
also,
for the hills.
How many holiday specials have murder in them? Because this one does.
It's great because it's this is the ultimate thing in Star Wars where the word wars is just unconsidered in the entirety of the concept.
Yeah,
of
the present stars definitely
stars there. We're not really dwelling about the war aspect.
Yeah, at most there is a light skirmish or a police action. Yeah, even a Christmas Carol, everybody is either already dead or theoretically dead in the future, but nobody actually gets murdered during the course of the story.
Someone dies in Gremlins. That mean old lady dies in Gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gremlins is a different beast.
It's true.
Literally.
Die Hard is also a different beast.
Die Hard is an R-rated movie.
Lots of murder in Die Hard.
Yeah, holiday movies, absolutely. But as far as holiday
TV
specials,
yeah.
Like nobody dies in Peanuts, even though everybody walks around moping like they want to kill themselves. It's also
Rudolph. They don't even kill the Bumble in Rudolph.
No,
yeah, Bumble's
bounces. Yeah,
take his teeth.
Also the way the Stormtrooper dies is such a Harrison Ford basically head fakes the dude into jumping to his own death.
Yeah,
followed by a Wilhelm scream, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
And it's such a long way to fall too.
It's really high up.
That scream should have gone on for another 10 seconds before we couldn't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, two things. I mean, we just saw Lumpy walk on that railing that was apparently not safe. Second of all, yeah, that dude is dead. That tree was way too tall.
That rail could have given out on him.
Yeah, he is Lumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lumpy.
And this all leads to the happy reunion of the family with Chewie and Han, and then they disappear into an orb.
Yeah.
Or to look. It's Chewbacca's family.
Specifically, what they do is they recreate the ritual of carousel from Logan's Run.
Dude, it's actually
all
really
I could think of during this scene.
Yeah, everyone's in red,
cool.
These red robes and holding a crystal ball. It's very culty.
Yeah, and then they get transported somewhere, and yet where they get transported to, Han, Luke, Leia, and R2 and 3PO are there.
What's the name? What's the name of the thing? Because it comes up in the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. But the thing, the World Between Worlds.
Oh, World Between Worlds. It could be there.
Is it the World Between Worlds? Do the Wookiees with Life Day just know how to access the World Between Worlds? But they don't
Travel
really
through space and time.
They don't really use it for its full potential. They just figured out they could do this and just do this aspect.
Yeah. All I know is that anyone over 30 ain't coming back from it.
And then Carrie Fisher sings a Life Day song that's kind of to the theme of the Star Wars theme, and it's
with the deadest eyes ever.
Poor Carrie, what a gem. Did I put up this behind the scenes picture yet? This is really great. Showing people actually doing this with their lives.
So you got Carrie Fisher with her dead eyes, and then it's followed up with Chewbacca staring dead into the camera. It's completely emotionless.
Oh, yeah.
Remembering a Star War.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it flashes back to like the
It's like-
whole. It's like a clip show of the movie, right? That he flashes.
Yeah.
back?
It is.
Everything
And it's
that he's
definitely,
in, yeah.
they only show the scenes, that Chewbacca was part of.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so weird. It's like it clearly was just an effort to pad the runtime because they'd run out of cocaine.
Yeah, and I love that it's also a great illustration of like how long commercials were in a time slot in 1978, because like it's a 2-hour time slot. The special is 97 minutes long. You know, today that would be 82 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or
like
a
old
3-hour
episodes
slot.
Yeah.
Star Trek are like over 50 minutes long.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. The world. Commercials. What else? What didn't we talk about? Oh yeah, the Green Circus people. Or was there more about the end that we wanted to bring up?
I mean, what more can you say?
Great.
The
So
Snuggies,
green
the lifeless stare.
green and orange-
Said it all.
green and orange weird holographic circus people that entertain Lumpy. This is just like a program that Lumpy watched.
Yeah,
Oh,
the weird drug-fueled
beautiful.
Cirque du Soleil
Which is also
conjured
like
up
4
on the
minutes
3D
long.
chessboard thing.
It's on the. No.
And that's
Like-
that's what the intro we had this week was. That's the music that's playing. By
Yeah,
the way.
because I knew nobody was going to copyright flag us for that thing.
That can't ping, right? I actually really like this piece of music. I'm sure it's like some classical piece of music just adapted to synthesizers, but like it's like the early era of like synthesizer music, and I like it. But Travis, a number of years ago, you sent me this picture of a guy cosplaying at Star Wars Celebration as the green trumpeter from the holographic parade, and it's like,
One of the greatest cosplayers I've ever seen at a Star Wars or a Star Wars celebration, and he
That's
chose
pretty
that,
great.
and I was in awe.
this is my favorite Star Wars cosplay I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can respect that. That's pretty great. We haven't talked about Jefferson Starship,
Yes.
who served as a distraction point.
Right. One of the
The
things
full
that
song.
one of the things that Harvey Corbin brought over, or no, Art Carney brought over
Art
was
Carney, yeah.
Jefferson Starship in a suitcase.
Yeah,
Tiny Jefferson Starship in a suitcase.
And then Art Carney does a whole honeymooners bit when he's setting the thing up.
Yeah, like why? That part's not funny actually.
It's painful.
It's very painful.
and I like that they just decided, hey, what's the song we have that's probably like closely can vaguely be associated with a war in the stars? Something about lighting the sky on fire or whatever. Yeah, we'll do that song.
Diamonds.
That
yeah,
old
like the diamonds
chestnut.
in the sky.
Well, was this an LP? Was this an album track, or this was a song for the show?
No, this was something that actually
This existed.
I recently re-listened to the interview with the director of A Disturbance in the Force, the upcoming making of doc, and he said that this actually charted in Europe. This song, it's part of one of their albums, their gold album, which I actually own this song.
But I feel like there was like I feel like there was a single of it that was like the start. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe there was like a special edit of it or something for the special.
Yeah, there may have been. It's gotta just
Like a radio version or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is an extended solo that I do not believe is in this.
Thankfully, it's not in.
Which
They
is
spared us at least that.
very surprising.
Yeah, the sequence is already too long.
That's one thing that the Disturbance in the Force director Jeremy Coon said of Steve Binder, who's the director of the holiday special, said that he unfortunately did not get to edit this. He's edited every other single thing he's directed, but he was not allowed to do the edits on this.
Oh.
Huh.
Bizarre.
Okay, wait. Here it is. Okay. I'll throw this up in a thing I can cut to. But it was a single that was going to come out on a greatest hits album. And the promo 7-inch for it does actually tout the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Interesting. Very nice.
All right, that's up on the screen now. Light the Sky on Fire, Jefferson Starship, the new single from their forthcoming greatest hits album, Gold, as seen and heard on the CBS TV Star Wars Holiday Special.
Wow.
That's great. It's not an unheard of practice releasing a new track for a greatest hits compilation, but
no.
In retrospect, I can understand why at the time they absolutely said, from the Star Wars thing. But looking back, there's probably like, could we maybe just like release the single on its merits, maybe, and not have the name drop on the 7-inch?
You can get a copy of that edition of the 7-inch for like $6. I might do it.
Let's say I cannot imagine it's expensive on discounts.
Yeah, but like the LP of the Star Wars Christmas album is a surprising collector's item. That record goes for a little bit of money, which is annoying.
I believe it took me a while on a similar note. It took me a while to track down the Dog Police record.
You have an original pressing of the Dog Police record?
I think it might be a reissue.
Okay, they did reissue it in the last couple of years.
But either way,
welcome to the Dog Police podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
A real band that released a real album that was almost got turned into a real TV show.
Yep. And their keyboard player looks like William H. Macy.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. What else to talk about the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Well, you can talk about, I know that you've brought it up several times, Alex, the emotional impact of seeing Lumpy's pet Bantha getting torn up. And
yes.
Then the funeral arrangements that he made for him.
Yeah, so this scene, the Imperials are basically looking for Han and Chewie, who they know are, in the area. And they're going house to house, which seems like a really annoying thing to be having to do in Kashyyyk houses for Imperials. But they go basically just ransack the house, really gross, Imperial style, and are just, tearing everything up. They make sure that the rebels are not inside Lumpy's stuffed bantha by tearing its head off and making sure it was just stuffing and not adult rebel people inside.
Yeah. There could have been a comm link or something inside there.
It's insane because, one of the few things that stands out to me is that the stormtroopers are a little more menacing in this than they are in the movies.
They kind of are. They're really mean here.
And then I'm almost positive the Imperial officer with them is trying to bang Mala.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The few exchanges, those knowing winks, I was like, dude, she's 3 feet taller than you. Come on.
That's what he's into.
Gonna be some of those famous Wookiee-Yookies?
I also love, there is a moment where that officer, when they're in the house, where he slowly takes his gloves off. And all I can think of is the moment in Spaceballs when Stephen Tobolowsky as Colonel Sanders' stunt double does the same thing. Because it's the exact same movement, and I'm positive it's a coincidence. But it is down to everything about the movement and the pace. That's all I could think of. And it's nuts. That similarity pops up in this.
That's really funny, and thank you for pointing it out. That's awesome. And yeah, Travis, you said, Lumpy he puts the head back next to the body and covers it in a blanket on his bed like it's sleeping, and it's very sad.
And then kisses him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost a mini funeral.
Yeah, it's really sad. And it always made me really bummed out, and I always wanted a stuffed bantha. And then some years ago at the Disney store in the Glendale Galleria, these were on sale, and I got them for $10, and it's great. And now I have a stuffed bantha.
There you go.
His head does not articulate, but I think that's for the best.
Makes it harder to rip it off if any Imperials come to your door.
Exactly. Yeah, and unless we have anything more to say about the original 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special, we can bring up the fact that the property has been revived in perhaps merely an effort to take over Google search results, but nevertheless,
that's my guess.
There is now the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, which still came out November 17th.
Yeah.
Still features Chewbacca's family and is still about Life Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still features familiar sounds.
That sound is absolutely in there.
Oh, yeah. In the current present-day Star Wars canon, no less.
Right.
Well, I don't think in the present canon, but obviously the holiday special is not canon.
Yeah, that's canon adjacent, but still launching off of current canon.
Yeah.
But the Lego one is clearly post Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Finn is training to be a Jedi. Like, a huge conceptual plot idea of new era Star Wars is just kind of a thing that's happening in the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special.
With the most frustrating thing about I thought it was okay. There were definitely some really great jokes in it.
Yeah.
Like this genuinely should have just been called Inside Baseball for Star Wars Nerds special.
Yes.
Because I really feel like a lot of it is absolutely just pandering to us and people like us.
Totally. There's references to Kylo Ren's mask being off and on again.
Scene.
There's shirtless him. Max Rebo's there. Friggin' hand shot first.
Yeah.
McClunky. We got McClunky.
McClunky's in it. The Lumpy's noise,
Yeah. The most frustrating thing is for whatever reason in this version, Poe Dameron is an idiot.
Yep.
Which I can live with. I can live with Poe Dameron being a himbo. But the stuff with Finn trying to become a Jedi, I was like, oh man, imagine if you'd done anything at all with his arc in Rise of Skywalker.
I know.
Yeah, Finn had more plot development in the holiday special than he does through 3 movies.
Yeah, John Boyega has to leave the franchise to get a bone thrown his way.
Yeah.
Or his character's way anyway, which was a huge bummer.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It did a really good job of actually highlighting a lot of problems and absurdities within Star Wars canon, which I was actually kind of surprised at how outwardly it was doing that, given that it's a Disney product.
Yeah, I that kind of caught me off guard. There would be a joke that come in and I was like, oh, this is how a lot of us felt after that. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. My favorite line in the whole thing is Poe at one point, just because the party is not going well, and he describes it as the biggest galactic disaster since Jar Jar Binks' Senate speech. Which is just because for years, just in conversation, I would just, when there'd be a Star Wars conversation I'd be a part of, I'd be like, the whole thing was Jar Jar Binks' fault. The whole thing. You could really pin it to this one specific thing that Jar Jar Binks was coaxed into doing. And that is the reason that the Emperor was able to take power. And just that being turned into a joke within an actual Star Wars product is hysterical to me. I love it.
Not that this would have happened, but Rey should have straight up done a time cop and stopped Qui-Gon from saving Jar Jar from the Trade Federation thing that almost ran him over.
Yeah, she could have. She was in the world between worlds, and she was time hopping and visiting great moments in Star Wars history.
It was also really weird to me looking through the IMDb cast. So the only original actors retained for this were Billy D. Williams, Anthony Daniels, and Rose Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico. Because the girl playing Ridley sounds almost a little like Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
But Finn was clearly not John Boyega.
She's British.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, vaguely, very vaguely. It almost sounded like Daisy Ridley doing a bad impression of herself.
Yeah. The guy doing Poe did a good job.
Yeah, Poe wasn't bad.
Although, I'd almost say it was an Oscar-worthy performance.
Although, again, missed opportunity here not to cast Jake Johnson as Lego Poe Dameron at least. So,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, it's a fun 45 minutes. It's pretty inconsequential.
It definitely,
yeah.
But
going through it, it definitely played a little more deliberately aimed at kids for sure. But those little nods, like the Jar Jar joke.
Yeah, I felt like there was plenty of there was maybe not plenty, but like more than I thought there would be of like stuff to treat like really hardcore adult fans and like fans of the actual Star Wars Holiday Special. Like I was surprised that there was any bone thrown to Chewbacca's family at all in this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting seeing Lego, Mala, Itchy, and Lumpy.
I thought it was telling that we did get a little snippet of the Mandalorian in it.
Yeah, that was really cool because I was kind of wondering about that if they were gonna dip any more into present canon.
I thought, you know, like as far as Mandalorian getting acknowledged by like the larger Star Wars like franchise, right? The movies and all that, it could easily be just this little side project that they shuffle aside. But I think the success of it, the Disney and Star Wars is willing to incorporate it into the larger whole.
Yeah, they acknowledged it more than they did Rogue One or Solo.
That's true.
In the holiday special.
That's true. We did get like, you know, this era, like current era Lando and not Solo era Lando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and we also got Lego Alden Ehrenreich too. Because we had the scene with the two Han Solos.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I take that back.
It's acknowledged. It's just, but Mandalorian had like a specific scene.
Yeah. No, and to incorporate Baby Yoda into it, and them like them,
the very marketable.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, yes.
Them cooing, you know, like the entire planet did when the show came out.
Yeah. I think genuinely my favorite moment. I appreciated the recurring gag of Luke, past Luke always drinking blue milk.
Yeah.
And then the Phantom Menace scene of Obi-Wan complaining about trade disputes. It's a very nice touch.
That was good.
Who cares about trade disputes?
Yeah, I even like as I was watching it, I think it got close to the halfway point, and in my head, I was like, am I going to have to go onto the podcast tonight and say how disappointed I am that we didn't get Sebulba for a second? And then the pod race scene happened immediately after I had that thought.
Yes.
Sebulba itch has been scratched. You are welcome.
Yep. No Watto though, which was my second request, but.
That's probably...
Yeah, I think Watto and the Neomoidians are kind of
they
go-to
got
zones
retired. Yeah, they were tired as a species.
What? It's not like they're racially insensitive caricatures.
They live in space Hawaii now and are enjoying their retirement.
You think you're some kind of Jedi?
What was the Admiral Akbar bit? I think it was with
it's a rap.
Lando. Yeah. The please be a cape, please be a cape, please be a cape. Thought that was pretty good. I mean, there's some good one-off jokes. Still definitely like geared towards kids. I was asking my nephew about it today. He's younger, and he was like, "Yeah, I think it's the funniest thing about Star Wars ever." Okay, so
that's cool.
It plays well to children.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and there should be this kind of content out there for young, like really young fans of Star Wars. Stuff that like this will pay off in the future. You know, it's like I loved the Ewoks and Droids cartoons when I was little, and still love them now for, you know, a variety of reasons, but I don't love them in like the same way. You know, I'm not like infatuated with them or like, you know, really the way a kid is, but like this has rewards as a Star Wars fan matures and revisits and like learns things, and you know, it's nice that that's that way.
Sure.
Yeah, this will keep Star Wars relevant for the rest of our lives, at least. It ensures a new audience member 10 years down the road.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know if I got anything more to say about the Star Wars Holiday Special tonight, guys. What about y'all?
Right now, I think.
Oh, I do. I like that we got a Lego Hux who seemed a little conflicted about his sexuality when he was around a shirtless Kylo Ren.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a real stupid, sexy Flanders vibe about him.
Excited, aren't we?
Oh, God. Diahann Carroll segment. It's the worst part. Well,
yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Happy Life Day, pal.
I think that brings us to good night, but not goodbye, which we can hear at the moment.
So, yeah, until Monday, when we are going to be covering the season finale of The Mandalorian, which airs tomorrow. And we will be joined with Jermaine Lucier again. Alex, where can people find more of you?
Twitter and Instagram at Alex Brunel.
And Dustin, how about you?
DustinMeadowsComedy.com, and you can also find me at Dustin Meadows on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch.
All right. And Ryan, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Harbjagen. That's HARBJAGEN.
All right. And you can find the show itself on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch every week where we stream live. Please reach out to us at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. And you can find us on any podcatcher of your choice. Please subscribe, leave reviews. We appreciate them all. And so until next week, good night, but not goodbye.
Next time you're dry, friend, try stopping by, friend, if there's a light in the place. We may not thrive, friend, but we survive, friend. Look, we're alive, friend, you and I. So say goodnight, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.